Welcome back to the Money Advantage podcast. I'm Rachel Marshall along with Bruce Wayner today. Good morning, Bruce. How are you today?
Good morning. Doing really well. Seeing the holiday seasons and everybody's festive, as festive as they can be with the COVID going around.
Listen, that is definitely something to be said. So we'll just say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, Happy all of the things that you are going to be celebrating in the next several weeks. So today we're doing a really special episode. And the first thing that we want to say is if you are new to the Money Advantage podcast, maybe you've been listening for just a while, maybe you've just come across us and you are in a position of saying, I want to optimize my money. I want to make sure that I have the most income today and as long as possible in the future. Can you guys help me? We would love to introduce ourselves, tell you more about us, our backstory, why we do the work that we do. And we hope that you love this introduction. And if it's valuable to you, then we would hope that you would introduce yourself to us as well. So we're going to go ahead and dig in. And the first thing I'll share with you is that the Money Advantage exists specifically to help wealth creators to build financial freedom. And that is through infinite banking, alternative investments, and cash flow strategies. Now, we're really your team of financial architects, if you will, that our goal is to help you to get into a position where you never run out of money. And what that means is we see a lot of people who make a lot of money and they are in a position, though, of feeling like they're still having to work and make that income, and they're not sure that they're doing the most with their money. They're not as efficient as possible. Their cash flow system is not as clicking as smoothly as it could be. And they're really wanting to make sure that they're not having gaps and having money leaks. Bruce, is there anything you want to share about that?
No, I think that's a very succinct. People I think this is one of the most difficult subjects for most people because money is emotional for people. The other thing I think is it's difficult because people do not share about money situations to each other. They hear it from always from a positive spin or for extremely negative. There's nothing in between. So people think that they're never going to get out of a situation, or they think, oh, I'll never be as best as that person is over there. So I think it's a very difficult thing. So having mentors and coaches can help you overcome your mindset blocks with money.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of times the main thing that you need if you're looking at your financial situation is to say, how can I coordinate all of these pieces in my life to work together and be like a symphony in my life rather than just, I'm over here paying off my house, I'm over here running my business, I'm over here hoping to not spend all my money, but still wanting to enjoy life as much as possible. And I'm over here trying to think about college for the kids. I'm over here trying to think about retirement income. I'm over here thinking about my investments. I'm over here with my insurance. And you're just doing all of these pieces that feel disjointed, where instead you need a coordinated financial life that is functioning, working together, and that all of your money is increasing your cash flow and your control. So let's tell a little bit about ourselves. I'm going to go ahead and go first. So I'm Rachel Marshall. I'm the co-host of the Money Advantage podcast, the co-founder of the Money Advantage, and I'm the chief financial educator here. What that means is that I am providing you with educational content to help you understand your financial life and be able to have the clarity to move forward. Now, the way that we do that is through podcasts, through videos, through articles on the Money Advantage website as well at themoneyadvantage.com. And we also have produced a lot of additional resources and materials that we'll share with you at the end of the show. But we're looking to provide any way possible to help you understand how to keep control of your financial life. Now, how did I get into this work in the first place? Really, what does it mean to me? I think one of the things that I look back on is my mom always reminded me, she said, Rachel, whenever you learn something new, you would stop and teach it to someone else right away. And I said, that's interesting. I don't really remember doing that, except I do remember my baby brother, 7 years younger than me. I was super proud to be the one that taught him his colors, his shapes, his numbers, his alphabet. And I love being able to teach. I think really what I look most forward to is seeing that flash of intuition or inspiration and really that awareness that happens for somebody when they realize that there's something more that they didn't understand before and they gain that understanding. So I love educating. The Money Advantage is really an educational platform to be able to give you the tools to understand your financial life. Now, I went into business about 9 years ago with my husband, Lucas, and we were in a position where we said, how can we build our own financial freedom? We'd read Robert Kiyosaki. We'd been in the position of saying, how do we build cash flowing assets, businesses and real estate? How do we make sure we're not just following the status quo advice? And really, we came into a position of personally realizing that we needed liquidity. That was one of the most important things that we realized in the early stages of business, is that we needed our cash to be accessible so that we could use it. And really, that was one of the most important things that we learned in our own financial life, having that liquidity and capital in our control. And we learned the hard way through investing in precious metals, where we thought that was going to be a long range store of value, but it wasn't liquid when we needed it the most. When our income was down after I quit my job to be a stay-at-home mom, and we needed capital infusion into our business to get started. So more personally, even than the business side of working with people's finances and insurance, I actually came in through health insurance, and then I started working with life insurance as well, and realized the primary need, we were working with business owners, and their primary need was to understand their financial system and really be able to have an entire model that worked. I remember sitting with somebody and they were looking at their QuickBooks and they said, I have no idea what's going on here. My business is making a lot of revenue. I'm not keeping any of my money. Can you help me? And at the time, I didn't have the answer, and I wanted to find out the best way to help them get the answers that they needed. And so coming through the business and helping people with their finances was really important to me. And making sure that my family was protected was also very important to me. And then I almost died. That was 18 months ago after I delivered my daughter, my second daughter. And finances and insurance protection became even more real and relevant to me, as I wanted to make sure that no matter whatever happens to me in my life, that my children are taken care of and that they have everything that they need to succeed. And I really want to make sure that I see every family, every business owner, every wealth creator in a position of knowing that they're creating the greatest legacy with their life, not just making their money work for them during their lifetime, but really making sure that it's going to help their children and future generations after they're gone. So Bruce, let's hear a little bit about you and how you got into this business and what it means to you.
Well, I was growing up in the 60s and the 70s, and there was massive change with the civil rights movement in the 60s. And then President Nixon took us off the gold standard and caused massive inflation in the 70s. And I was acutely aware of massive inflation and the economics that were so difficult surrounding that time. My father was a business owner, and it was really caused a lot of struggles in small businesses. And so then I got my early job in a Chevrolet dealership, and I saw them struggle along the way. I saw interest rates spike, and where you could get a CD for 12%, but home loans were 21%. And it got me thinking about how to make money and how businesses work and how personal finance worked. And so it started my journey. I got into education, and I became a teacher for 17 years. But even along that way, I had some entrepreneurial things going on, rental properties. I got into the insurance business at that time. And I was really curious of how you make money outside of your W-2 income. And then I had a little adventure out to California to start a school out there. And then I bought another business out there. And then we moved back to be closer to my wife's father, who's, because her mother had died, and we wanted to be close to him. And we kept some rental property out in California. And we got into some more rental property here in St. Louis, and just started my up in my insurance and my advisory business again along the way. I am a registered investment advisor, which means I'm a fiduciary. That's the buzzword nowadays. It actually drives me crazy, because just because somebody says they're a fiduciary, which simply means they're supposed to take the best interest of their client in mind, I think it's kind of insulting to everybody that's in a business, because you can be certified to do it, but unless you really do it, the certification means nothing. But I am with E3 Consultants Group in St. Louis, and this is where I think we set ourselves apart from a lot of other financial consulting firms. We actually have a family office model. Finances are actually a team sport. They should be a team sport. And people say this all the time to me. They say, what do the wealthy people do? Or they ask me, what do you do with your money? Or how do you do things? And I tell them I get a team involved in everything we do. And it's amazing that the general public in the United States, and frankly worldwide, because the Money Advantage, we've actually talked to people from our podcast worldwide, they actually do things in a silo method. Taxes are done here, investments are done here, insurance is done here, your mortgage is done here, your estate planning is done here. Everything you do, your cash flow is done here. Everything is in a silo. Nothing is coordinated. We actually take the approach that you should have a team and then have a coordinator in the middle, and bringing in the appropriate people and things that you should consider along the way. When you do that, nothing slips through the cracks and things are coordinated. And this is what the highly ultra wealthy people do as a rule. They make sure that nothing slips through the cracks. And that is how they are able to build their wealth, not only while they're alive, but then they have good estate planning to continue their wealth from one generation to another. So I am also a certified Nelson Nash practitioner. Several of the advisors that we have with the Money Advantage are also certified practitioners. And this also sets us apart because Nelson was a person that looked for guarantees, because he was like Warren Buffett. If you ever look this up, Warren Buffett said there's two rules of money. Number one, don't lose money. And number two is never forget rule number one. And I think people are always trying to hit home runs because they think that's how wealth creation is done. But if you actually look at people that are wealthy, they are actually just looking for consistent cash flowing investments along the way. And this is what we try to do with our clients, is to help them in this journey to provide protection, do cash flowing investments, and then actually having plans to actually coordinate everything in their lives.
Bruce, that's really well said. And I wanted to point out as well that you are our lead strategist. You're our lead advisor on the Money Advantage team. We'll explain a little bit more about what the Money Advantage team is in a second. And so you'll kind of understand where some of those great attributes of being a registered investment advisor and also being a Nelson Nash IBC practitioner as well are tremendously valuable. So I want to help you understand what makes us different from other financial firms. And so Bruce talked a little bit about E3. We're going to talk to you now as well. What is the Money Advantage? What do we believe? And how can we specifically help you? So the first thing is that there is a typical philosophy or the status quo financial thinking that really is about, how do I accumulate a pile or a mountain of cash? How do I then divest that and spend it down and preserve my principal, but be able to live off of that pile of money in future years? And your money is in control of investment managers. It's in the control of the banks, in the control of the mortgage company. And almost everything that most people are doing financially is taking money out of their control. It's also then subject to future taxation, which we don't know what the future taxes will be. And if I'm putting my tax in the bucket of I'll pay it in the future on my money, you're in a position of having an unknown tax liability. So we believe, as Bruce, you mentioned in a second ago, that cash flow is the way to build time and money freedom. Having not only cash flow coming in through your maybe job or through your business revenue, but that's just revenue, that's income. Cash flow is income bigger than expenses or savings. This is the money that you are keeping. And so having cash flow that not only comes from your business and your job, but also from assets, from businesses, from real estate, from alternative investments that are producing that income into your life, that is the ultimate goal. And when you have additional income coming in excess of your expenses, that is financial freedom. And then ultimately you want to create time freedom, which means you can choose to do what you want with your time. We do not believe in the typical philosophy of retirement where you build up this pile of cash. When you get to a certain dollar amount, then you stop working and then you live off the money into the future. We would want to see people continue to thrive and be independent wealth creators for the rest of their life. And that looks like gaining control. So we're not about trusting and hoping things work out. We're about taking control of your financial life. Also, we're not about just having a best case scenario on paper where you expect the stock market to have a certain return and you expect taxes to be a certain percentage and you expect to live to a certain age. We want to make sure that your money does the most for you all through your life in the widest range of circumstances. That is the ultimate objective. What if you live longer than expected? What if inflation's higher than expected? What if taxes are higher than expected? We want to make sure that you are in a position of maximum control no matter what happens outside. So I also want to make sure that I want to make sure that you know that we believe in financial principles. There are principles of wealth creation. One of those is that dollars follow value. If you are producing value for other people, you're providing more value to more people, more money will flow into your life as a result of that. That is the essence of being a wealth creator. And then you see the wealth creator who's making money needing to have good money habits. And this comes back to very foundational principles like paying yourself first and making sure a portion of all that you earn is yours to keep. And when you do that, that's how you're able to put dollars in your control and be able to build cash flowing assets. So I wanted to share with you our 9-step signature process that we use to help our clients master this financial control, freedom, and fulfill their money's highest purpose in their life so that they can really live a life of significance. I need to be able to share my screen. And I'll show you this here. This is a little bit messy, so bear with me here. All right, so this is the cash flow process to bring you from a position of wherever you are today that might feel like you're surviving to truly thriving and having significance. We really see building wealth in 3 stages. First, you need a foundation, then you need protection, then you need to increase the money that you've already made. Now, in the foundational phase, this is working on your money mindset and thinking from the principles of abundance and true wealth creation. This is moving from a position of scarcity to abundance. Then Bruce, can you share what a cash flow awareness is?
Yeah, I think what everybody needs to know is that money flows into your control and then money flows out of your control. And what you really need to do is to figure out how more money can flow into your control. And people say, oh, that's a budget. And I tell people all the time, no, I don't like the word budget because budget talks about things that you can't have. I can't have this, I can't have that. What I think the difference is cash flow awareness. If you're aware where your money is flowing, and you'd be absolutely shocked how many people are not aware where this money is flowing, then you can make decisions based on your knowledge and decide where you want that money to actually flow. And then you can actually say to yourself, no, I don't like it that it's flowing over there. I'd rather it be flowing over here. It's a mindset change between being aware rather than just putting yourself on a budget. Budgets tend to work on negative reinforcement, and I don't think negative reinforcement works that well. Cash flow awareness works on a positive mental aspect of where my money's flowing, and I'm going to be in control and decide where I want my money to flow to.
Yes. And so that is moving from confusion about where your money's going to clarity. Then we look at the money finder. This is our process of helping you to find money leaks and direct more of your money back into your control. This could be anything from how you're paying off loans or to how you're paying your house or what type of business loans you have or whether you have the proper insurances in place, whether you have the best cost on those insurances, what your tax situation looks like. For instance, we had a client that we were able to introduce to our integrated resource network that we'll mention in a minute, and they were able to save $350,000 on their taxes in 1 year. That is a position where that was a money leak that they were able to shore up and have more money in their control. Then we look at moving into the protection phase. Now, once you're in protection, first you're going through livelihood safeguard. That means your insurance protections, that means your disability, your health insurance, all your auto and home insurance coverages, and even your life insurance. This means if anything happened to you, how would your life be protected so that no one event can come in and steal the wealth that you've built and make you poor? Then legal security is all of your estate planning, your business legal planning as well, which is extremely critical. We've recently talked about asset protection on the podcast, making sure that you have a protected buffer around the wealth that you've created from creditors, from lawsuits, and even from just life happening. Then privatized banking is a signature piece of what we do, but you'll see it's just one piece in a much bigger picture and a much bigger journey to time and money freedom. Privatized banking is taking the banking function into your own hands so that you are in control of your own capital. It's storing your cash in a specially designed whole life insurance policy, which allows you to have the maximum safety, liquidity, and growth on your money. So you're not storing it and giving up the growth. You're not just being in a position. Oh, that's me. Sorry. You're not just being in a position where you have to borrow capital. You're in a position where you have the cash in your control. So that is a key piece that allows you to minimize opportunity costs and to truly have more cash to then use for investing purposes, to use for emergencies and opportunities, and to be in a position where you are increasing your control. Then increase is the last phase. And this is the part that most people get really excited about and jump to first, but you'll see that there's foundational work that needs to be done in your financial life before we move to investing. And why not just regular investing? What's unique ability investing? This is when you're investing in things that you know and control. We actually call this the luck principle. If you have something where you have liquidity, use, and control of your money, you add in K, which is the knowledge, you will be lucky with the investments that you choose. So this is focusing on your key area of uniqueness, not investing just in what somebody else thinks is a great opportunity, but what is a great opportunity specifically for you. And then building that time and money freedom is ultimately an objective on your path, but it's not even the end point because you want your wealth to continue on past you and create a legacy, whether it's for your family, for a charity, just the work that you're doing in the world. You want to make a great impact. And that's what legacy creation is all about. And when you're able to follow this cash flow system that we've discovered, you are truly able to live a life of significance with your money. And that is bringing meaning to your money, not just having money for the sake of having money. Now, Bruce, I want to help someone to understand that wealth is a team sport. Can you tell them why we believe that so strongly?
Yeah, because as I mentioned earlier, just once you get to some significant cash, 1% change or 1% money leak is not only a 1% money leak for that year, but it's also the opportunity cost that is lost. So that money, that 1% can actually stack for the rest of your life going forward in a variety of ways. So that is why we can sit down with a variety of our resources that work together in an integrated way to actually make sure that everything is coordinated. One example might be that you decide that you're going to actually have higher deductibles on your house or commercial real estate, or on your car loans, or it's not your car loans, excuse me, your car protection. And people say, well, that means then if I have a higher deductible, then I'm actually going to have to pay in case something happens. Well, that's okay. That extra money that you save isn't just going to go away. It's actually going to be reinvested somewhere else so that it's making money for you. And then that way, if you never have a claim, you never lose that opportunity cost. That's just one example. Taxes are another example. Yes, having a good tax strategist that is working along with your investment advisor is very, very important, because this one question should be asked of all tax people. Do you want to try to save money the most in taxes this year, or do you want to try to save money over your entire lifetime? Which one is more important to you? Most tax preparers actually try to save you the most money this year. A good tax strategist working with an investment advisor is trying to save most taxes over your lifetime. And that actually really good ones are trying to save the most taxes over multiple lifetimes going forward. So having an integrated resource network can provide these kind of services for you.
So when we say wealth is a team sport, what's really interesting about that is a lot of times financial advisor will be a solo operation and they will work with you and you have a relationship just with that one person. I want to help you understand when you work with the Money Advantage, you may work with Bruce, you may work with another advisor on our team. And when you meet with our team, you are getting access to the whole team. So that I think is sometimes a little bit of a confusion for someone. They're saying, well, don't I just have a relationship only with my advisor? When we have this integrated resource network and we have a unique ability teamwork model within the Money Advantage, if you are coming to work with the Money Advantage advisors and you're ready to have a conversation, you may have any number of advisors on our team, which is a continually growing number of advisors. And you're going to also have a client coordinator sitting in that meeting, making sure that they're taking notes and making sure we don't miss anything in the conversation. We have people dedicated just to administrative tasks as well. So we make sure that we're fulfilling your needs financially by working in our area of uniqueness and getting the most energy from the conversation so that we can give you the best value. That also means that you're getting access to all of us and everything that we provide. So a few ways that one thing I just want to mention is that we believe that your wealth is too important to DIY. It's too important for you to just do it all yourself and you coordinate all of these different advisors and different areas of your financial life. It's very valuable for you to have access to, as Bruce was mentioning earlier, the family office model, where there's one hub that coordinates everything else in a like-minded way so that everything is coordinated and working together in like that symphony that we had talked about earlier. So also, your wealth is too important to have one advisor dabbling in all these areas and say, oh yeah, I do estate planning and I also do tax and I also do insurance and I also do investing and I also can do everything for you. One advisor cannot be an expert in all of those areas. But when you have an entire integrated resource network, we can provide all of that expertise within the Money Advantage. So I do want to say, when you work with the Money Advantage, you are getting a collaborative effort between the Money Advantage and E3 Wealth. And that is a tremendous value to any of our clients that come in and work with the Money Advantage, because we have access to the resources and relationships and partnerships within E3, as well as within the relationships that we have with the rest of our advisor team, which are like-minded advisors. Now, Bruce, is there anything else we want to mention about the team, the unique ability teamwork model, family office model, and the integrated resource network?
Well, I think I've said this before. Our industry has to improve the fact that when we say most, we're talking 85+% people in our industry work as rugged individualists. You hear it on the radio all the time. Call me, call me, call me. I'll solve all your problems. And it just makes sense that one individual can't be the best that they can possibly be for you. I use the education model because I came out of education. I certainly could have I was a biology major. I certainly could have walked down the hallway and taught history because I had history. I certainly could have walked down the hallway and taught English because I had English, but I was not the best person to do those particular things. The same thing happens in our money situation. Yeah, yes. Do I know a lot about taxes? Yes, but I'm not the best person. So I brought in a tax attorney recently to help one of our clients, and lo and behold, that tax attorney develop a legal strategy to save this particular person $350,000 in taxes. And we also bring in people that are insurance brokers that actually find the best situation for people that saves them money. We find investment advisors along with myself that are experts in money management to lower the volatility, alternative investment people that actually are alternative to the stock market so that people don't lose money when the stock market goes into a downturn. And we're able to do this because everybody on the team is pulling in the same direction.
I love that you said that. That's what's important for you, is that everything is working in the same direction. That is critical because it's not a competitive space where somebody says, well, if you put more money in this investment, you don't have as much to invest with me. And so there's a competition between the two areas of your financial life. Instead, when everything's working in your favor towards the goal of your control and your maximum cash flow, then you're in a position where you know you're going to win. So who do we work with? This is probably a question you were asking, and I want to show you who we work with and why. So typically we work with business owners And this is for specifically entrepreneurially minded business owners who are in a position that they own their own company and they have revenue coming in. And we do have people who say, do you work with anyone who's not a business owner? And yes, the answer is yes, we can work with you as well. So there's specific strategies that work specifically for business owners and some that do not. So I want to mention here that this is our model to show you the time and money freedom roadmap. So there's 4 levels here. Typically, we're working with people who are up here in level 3, at least, where they have a consistent surplus in their life of 1,000 to and up around the range of 20,000. That is monthly savings. So this is somebody who's built monthly savings habits. They have good savings habits in their life. They're in a position where they're making great income. They have cash flow and they're saving that capital, and they're saying, how do I increase the value that I'm getting from this money? How do I make sure that it's working for me, working in my favor? I'm not losing safety. I'm not losing liquidity. I'm not losing growth, but I'm in a position where I'm using this money to invest for cash flow. And we help you do that most strategically. Now, if you are in the position of having $500 to $1,000 a month that you are already saving, you might be more inconsistent with the amount of money that you are saving and have control over. But at the same time, you're probably in a position where you need some more cash flow strategies to increase the cash flow that you're keeping. So what does that all mean? If you book an appointment with us, we're going to want to see if you're specifically booking for privatized banking. We'll want to see that you have at least $1,000 a month that you're saving, or $100,000 in easily accessible liquid assets. Now, if you're coming in as a business owner for our cash flow strategies, you're going to want to be in a position of having a business with revenue about 200,000 or more. And the reason is that there's a lot of strategies that really are specific to businesses that do not apply to people who do not own a business. Bruce, is there anything else you want to share about that?
I would just like to say that the cash flow, the no cash flow or inconsistent, can still go to our website and still obtain different things that can change their situation and get better. The number one thing I see with those two is you have to change your mindset. Because I'll give you an example that happens all the time in the inconsistent level where people say, well, I'm saving between $500 and $1,000 a month. And then I go over a financial picture with them and I ask them how much is in their savings. And they say, oh, I have like $2,000 in my savings. And I say, well, you just told me you save between $500 and $1,000 a month. What happened to that? And they look at me and I say, well, I guess I don't save that much. And that's because people think they're doing one thing in their mind, but they're not really doing it. And because our strategies and the wealthy strategies actually require that your mindset is one of positivity and consistency, or these strategies don't work. We don't want to try to get these people into other strategies that their mind will not allow them to be successful going forward. So, but they still can get help through many of our YouTube videos and many of our resources that we have on our website.
Absolutely. And thank you for sharing that, Bruce. We definitely do have something for everyone. And in any phase of your life, if you are choosing to become a wealth creator, that means you're choosing to take personal ownership of your financial trajectory and choosing to build wealth. We absolutely can help you wherever you're starting from. There are lots of free resources we'll mention in just a moment on our website. Now, Bruce, is there anything that I would like you to share, the 3 ways that somebody can work with us? And so far, that is financial products, that is consulting, and that's our advisory. Can you share with our audience those 3 things?
Yeah, many people come and say, well, I just want privatized banking because we're very good at that. We're certified in that. And it's a foundational piece, and we certainly can do that. We do ask people, though, that in order to do it properly, we're going to ask them for some more information from them. There is some business consulting we can do. We have a couple clients that are doing that, and what they really want is our team to look at their business operations and bring in the appropriate people. And then the final one is advising on your personal financial situation, where and we can actually talk about how we get paid, because all these things we get paid, obviously, because we're adding value. but we don't get paid just one way. We get paid however that particular situation gets paid. And
Go ahead and share that, Bruce.
so example, we could get paid an hourly fee. We could get paid a flat planning fee. We could get paid an asset under management ongoing fee, or we can get paid commissions. I can't tell people how we're going to get paid until we understand what they need, because all those situations require you knowing what particular strategy you're going to use before we can determine the fee. But we will never spring a bill on you. You will always know what the fees are before we move forward.
I think that's very well said. And I hope that that gives you a lot of confidence to know that you can be welcome into that conversation. If you are qualified to work with us, you can go over to themoneyadvantage.com/calendar. You can book a free 30-minute session with our advisor team. That is an introduction to be able to figure out, are you a good fit in working with our team? Are we a good fit for what you are looking to accomplish? And together, is there synergy that we can have a positive working relationship going forward? And from that position, then we would be able to request documents and then move forward with recommendations. And again, anything that we are providing recommendations, you are going to know what the cost of that would be before you would take action. So I do want to let you know as well that you can find us at the Money Advantage podcast. Well, that's not a website. Let me just back that up. You can find us on the Money Advantage podcast. If you're listening today, you maybe have located us there before. We are on all the major channels: Apple Podcasts, Google, Stitcher, Pandora even. I just found that out the other day. I didn't even realize. So all the podcast channels. Now we also have YouTube with The Money Advantage, and also Facebook. We're going live on a weekly basis and providing you with valuable information. A lot of people don't know that you can hop on over to themoneyadvantage.com, where we have the show notes for every single episode. And that's not just a few notes here and there with a few links. That is full, fleshed out article, blog with a lot of resources, additional materials that you can go look at or even download and find out more about what we were discussing. So make sure that you check that out as well. Now, you can also, if you're interested in finding out more about privatized banking, you can get the quick and easy privatized banking guide for investors that will help you figure out how to use the same money in two places at the same time and earn two returns on the same money at the same time. That is at let me back up. That is at privatizedbankingsecrets.com. Now, if you're ready to go further and you want more information about privatized banking, we have a course called Privatized Banking Secrets, and that is a paid course that you can go through. It is a lot of content about how privatized banking works, what it looks like. We walk through illustrations. We help you understand how it fits in your financial life. You can get that at privatizedbankingsecrets.com/course. And lastly, we mentioned booking a call. You can do that at themoneyadvantage.com/calendar, and our advisors would be happy to have an initial conversation with you. Now, we are really thankful that you've joined us here. We're thankful for any time that you've spent with us on the podcast or on the blog or the videos that we have. And we are really thankful to have been part of helping you gain clarity in some area of your financial life. And we would be honored and pleased and grateful to have the opportunity to continue helping you build your wealth creation story. Now, remember, in closing, success leaves clues. So model the successful few, not the crowd, and build a life and business you love.